Hey, welcome to another Tea Time show. This week's is a follow-up to last week's show, so if you missed that, probably important that you go and see that one first. That one was all about how to use lots of different tools for keyword research for your SEO efforts. This show is a follow-up to that, so now you should have a huge, big list of keywords and search terms that you might want to rank your website for. So what I'm going to do in this show is show you what to do with those keywords. So I'm going to work through a process that I use to kind of group those together into individual pages. You're going to have common terms that are quite similar. You're going to have multiple terms. And what you don't want to do is have 1,000 keywords and 1,000 pages. That's just not going to work. So we need to group those together. And also think about the intent behind those search terms. What is this user searching for? Do they have a problem they're trying to solve, or do they want to buy a product? Do they know what brand of product they want? Do they know what size? Do they know what colour? How close are they to a buying decision? So we need to think about what these terms mean. So I'm going to walk you through that process. Before we get stuck in fully, of course, as usual, if you have questions, please do ask them in comments and I'll try and get to those as best I can for you. And do give this a thumbs up if you enjoy it. And of course, subscribe right now for more tips as we go through the weeks and share more stuff about SEO and AdWords and analytics with you and how to get the most from those for your business to help you grow online. So the first step is we've done our keyword research and we've pulled all of those different sources that I talked to you about in the last video into one huge great spreadsheet. So hopefully you don't have like 1 million keywords, otherwise we're in trouble, but I've just pulled a few in here. This is not exhaustive, but just a reasonable number just to show you how this process works. So the first thing to do is start grouping these together. So we've got fish tank, okay, basic stuff. We've got tropical fish tank, which is more specific than just fish tank. We've got fish tank filters. So let's start breaking these up. Fish tank stand. We've got fish tank ornaments. Okay, here's another fish tank one. So let's just put those together. We've got a few things here. And I'm going to fast forward the video at this bit to not bore you to death, but you'll see the end result. So just spending a few minutes working through those keywords that we've done through our keyword research. So we're starting to group these together now into potentially single pages. So we've got our kind of very broad fish tank keywords. So you could just do fish tank sale, fish tank for sale, things like this, and group those together. You might want a separate page for small fish tanks, just to put your small fish tanks on, and that's different from your standard ones. It does really depend on the subject, and it depends on the volume of search traffic, and it depends on the level of competition that you're finding on the homepage with Google. So in some cases, you might find that fish tank, small fish tank, large fish tank, round fish tank, corner fish tank, actually you could get one page to rank for all of those terms, provided that it's got those products on there and those words on there. My suspicion is in this particular keyword area that individual websites that you're going to be competing with will have dedicated pages for small, corner, cold water, large, round, 3-foot fish tanks. I assume there's kind of 4 or 5 that you could get. There's 4-foot fish tank would be another page, 5-foot and 6-foot would be separate pages each again, and then we get on to 20-gallon and so on and so on. So some of these, if you know your subject, and hopefully you do if you're doing SEO for a website, but if you know your website and your subject well enough, you will get a clear understanding. You should understand before you need to go and check with Google, if you're the expert, actually, does this need a dedicated page, or do I just kind of merge these into a single page and see if I can get that one page to rank for multiple terms and derivatives of those same terms? So in here, this is effectively starting to build the structure of our pages. So we're going to have a page probably for each of these, and then obviously your 3-foot fish tank and fish tank 3-foot and variations of those terms. It's the same keyword. Google's smart enough to know the words in a different order mean the same thing, so you don't have to go creating 2 pages for the words in a different order. For heaven's sake, don't do that. It's just not worth it, and it won't work. You'll probably get penalised for duplicate content anyway, so don't worry too much about that. It goes without saying, if you don't sell 4-foot fish tanks, then don't worry about creating a page for them, of course. And then we've got some other stuff through here: starter fish tank, tropical fish tank. And if you go deeper into the keyword research, you're probably going to find that there is search traffic for 4-foot tropical fish tank, or 5-foot tropical fish tank, or 100-litre tropical fish tank, 100-litre saltwater tank, and variations and combinations of these terms. So remember, I've only really just scratched the surface to give you an idea here of how these keywords are divided up. So think about, you know, if we're kind of going, okay, I've got a 4-foot fish tank, I'm going to create a page for that. Go back to your keyword research, and if you don't have them already, what other variations are there of 4-foot fish tank? And then you're going to find for sale, with a stand, without a stand, freshwater, tropical fish, all of this kind of stuff. You're going to get loads of variations of that 4-foot fish tank, the same with 5-foot and 6-foot, the same with cold water and corner and all these things. So, you know, we need to kind of take this as a top level keyword, or 2 or 3 keywords for a page, and then do keyword research that's more specific in this individual subject. And it might be that actually this 4-foot fish tank, we end up with actually 5 pages. The kind of parent category, the top level one for 4-foot fish tanks, and then the subset of those for 4-foot tropical, 4-foot saltwater, 4-foot something else and something else. So if you think about it in those terms, you're starting to kind of create this hierarchy where we've got fish tanks at the top, then we've got 4-foot fish tanks underneath, and then we've got several different types of 4-foot fish tanks underneath that, and then within those pages you've probably got multiple products which are 4-foot fish tanks. So let's say 10 individual 4-foot fish tanks, which are tropical fish tanks. 4-foot tropical fish tanks then is our kind of group, the next level up, and then the next level up from that is our fish tanks at the top of that as well. So that's your kind of structure. You're starting to build that. Now, the next thing to think about here, so all of these search terms broadly are going to be, they're kind of reasonably high intent here. So cheap fish tanks, we don't know what this person means by cheap. Is that £100? Is that £500? Is it £20? We have no idea. We don't know what size fish tank they want. They just want a cheap fish tank. So the likelihood of this converting into a sale is comparatively low. If someone just types fish tank, cheap fish tanks for sale, that kind of stuff, it's kind of, the intent is there. We know they want a fish tank, but they don't yet know what fish tank they want. Neither do we. So this is fairly low value, fairly early in that sales process. We still like that traffic because there's tons of traffic on it, as you can see. Fish tank sale, 12,000 searches a month. You know, that's lots. That's worth having. But the percentage conversion rate is going to be fairly low. When you get into 3-foot, 4-foot, 5-foot, 6-foot, 20-gallon, and then much, much more specific, this person's already done some research. They've shopped around a bit. Maybe they know, you know, they've had fish already. Maybe they've already got one, a smaller fish tank, and they want a bigger fish tank. This guy, this girl, they know what they want. They are much closer to a buying decision. So the conversion rate on a 3-foot fish tank keyword or a 4-foot is going to be much higher than just a fish tank keyword. When we get into the more longer tail, so we start talking about 4-foot tropical fish tank, that's much higher still. I'm assuming, of course, that your store sells these products. If it doesn't, then of course the conversion rate is going to be rubbish. If you're more expensive than everybody else, it's going to be rubbish. If your site takes ages to load, conversion rate is going to be rubbish. If your delivery charge is too high, there's a whole other conversion rate optimization you know, thing you need to think about. It's not just about keywords. But let's focus on the keyword research and kind of analysis for the moment. And maybe we'll do a conversion rate optimization show another time. Make sure you subscribe and we'll do that at some point. And if you really want that soon, then mention in the comments and maybe we'll escalate that up the agenda for the coming shows. But anyway, going back to our uber huge spreadsheet, you can start to think about the intent here. You're starting to get structure. You know which pages you need on your website, and you now understand what your title tag's going to be, what your H1 tags. And when you get into in more depth into the individual page for your I don't know, round fish tank, and there's going to be kind of 4 or 5 derivative terms for that, then maybe those are your H2 tags on the page, and then the language you're going to use and the products you've got on there, that's going to start to build the structure of this page. And what you need to then do is fill in the blanks with your expertise and some content, and obviously the products. So that's starting to build that out. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. So while I was going through this, the other thing that I started discovering, so we've got, you know, fish tank cleaner, fish tank cleaning. Now fish tank cleaner, that sounds like a product search to me. Fish tank cleaning, is that a product search, or is that a how do I clean my fish tank kind of query? So I'm not sure on this one. So what I'd recommend you do, and it's always worth double checking this, just go to Google and search for it. So we're now at Google, we're looking for fish tank cleaning, not cleaner. And the first set of results, we've got some Google product ads. So clearly Google thinks this is a buying, shopping search term. And it's trying, certainly right now, this may not be forever, it's trying to then sell me cleaning products. Then we've got a paid search ad. But next, we've got a blog post. So organically, this is what we're after with SEO, this position here. Organically, Google is interpreting this query as a how do I do something. This is a research query at the what we call the top of the funnel. This is you know, very early stage. This is a research query, if you want to call it that. And then we've got a fish tank cleaning kit. So well done, pets at home. We've got a how-to, and then the second result they've got is actually a product, a fish tank cleaning kit. So, you know, bravo, pets at home. You've got two parts there. So Google's kind of, you know, interpreting this and mixing the results. So maybe it's not quite sure yet. If we check this in a month or 2 months or 3 months or 6 months from now, we might find that these results are slightly different, and the types of results that Google is serving is slightly different as well. So we've then got easy ways to clean a fish tank, so this is kind of how to, and then the videos again, we've got the video stack in here, so again this is the how do I do this. So Google's interpreting fish tank cleaning as mostly as a kind of research, how do I do something, and then it's giving me answers to that question. If I do fish tank cleaner, okay, so now we're definitely getting the cleaning kit. So you see that subtle difference, only a few characters different between those two search terms, but the intent is very different. So we're now seeing the fish tank cleaning kit first, and then we've got aquarium cleaning products on Amazon, we've got fish tank cleaner on eBay. So this is very much a buying term. So going back to our spreadsheet, I kind of group these together, but actually they're completely separate. So these are two completely different pages. So there's no reason you can't write a, you know, an epically good blog post about fish tank cleaning, and within that mention the products and link through to the products, maybe have pictures of the products of your fish tank cleaners, or link to your product page or your category page for your fish tank cleaning products. But fish tank cleaning is very much that's kind of a blog, a video, that kind of stuff, whereas fish tank cleaner is very much a category and product page. So you can link the two, you can direct the traffic from one to another in terms of, look, I've told you how to clean a fish tank, these are products that you need, now go and buy them, and you're going to get some traffic from those. But you know, the intent is very different, as we just found out from Google. So really important to understand what the intent is and create content which is going to rank. If you have a product page and you try and optimize it for this search term, even if you have more external links, deeper content, more domain authority, Google is almost certainly not going to serve that in position 1, 2 or 3 on Google. Why? Because Google thinks this is a how do I clean a fish tank query, and if you're not answering the how do I clean a fish tank query, then your page simply isn't going to rank. So those two examples, really good example there, those two examples are very different types of content, and if you're lucky enough and your SEO and your content is strong enough, then you know, you get a result like Pets at Home where they actually had both results, first and second, for fish tank cleaning. Just to show you very quickly, you may have spotted it, so fish tank cleaning, and then we get all of these things. So we've got, you know, nets, brushes, kits, tools, magnets, service, pump, all these kinds of things. You know, went through this with the earlier video. So it may be that actually, if you're going to start thinking of writing blog content for fish tank cleaning, what you might want to think about is, actually, I might want several blog posts and create a hierarchy around that. So I've got fish tank cleaning as a main post, nice deep in-depth post about what you should do, what you shouldn't do, products you might want to use. But then the derivative terms that we had in here. So we got things like, let's have a look, tools. So we could have, that's probably a product page actually. What else have we got in here? Accessories. Okay, we got cleaning bacteria. Maybe that's a whole other, you know, a whole other blog post with a page in its own right. Maybe what else do we have in here? Chemicals is, you know, that's more of a higher intent kind of shopping query. What else do we have in here? Calcium cleaning. Again, that might be a blog post. What else have we got in here? Fish tank decorations cleaning. Again, so you could have multiple kind of blog posts that each rank for these individual terms. You do your keyword research around each, you create a blog post around each, all that link and support the higher level kind of fish tank cleaning blog post. So you're creating some authority, a little structure around multiple bits of content. If you try and create one post, one page with all of these terms on it and try and rank it for all of them, it's almost certainly not going to work because there's going to be stronger content out there that better answers that particular question. So I hope that makes sense. Again, just ask questions in the comments and we'll certainly try and help. So the other thing that I stumbled across just going through this is I expanded on fish tank cloudy, which I stumbled across in the main keyword research, and then I went off on a tangent into fish tank cloudy. So what's all this about? So fish tank is cloudy, okay, group those together. What about aquarium bacteria bloom? I don't know what that is, I'm not a fish tank expert, but the chances are that's probably another blog post within that. You know, we've got things like, if I'm going to do a post about cloudy fish tanks, I'm going to talk, maybe my H2s are going to be, what are the reasons for having a cloudy fish tank? What are the remedies? What can I do about this cloudy fish tank? When does this cloudiness occur? Is it after setup? Is it an established tank? Is it a brand new tank? You know, these are kind of sub questions within this topic. So your title may be why your fish tank is cloudy and what you can do about it. And then within that you may have sections about the reasons, the remedies, was this during setup, was this in a new tank, is it an established tank, is it fresh water, is it salt water? It may be that you start structuring this and think, do you know what? There's so much content here, this is just too big a subject for one blog post. So actually what I want to do is have cloudy fish tank as a post, and then I want a saltwater cloudy fish tank as a secondary post, and then maybe cloudy tropical fish tank as another post, all to answer those individual questions and be more specific for those queries, particularly where we're starting to see, you know, there's 70 searches a month for that query alone. You know, cloudy fish water and cloudy fish tank, these probably will go together. Cloudy water and fish tank, so you know there's a lot of traffic on this. This is pretty big. I might open a fish tank store. What else do we have in here? A few things. Goldfish, again, you know, is that enough traffic to warrant writing an individual blog post and researching that? Quite possibly. You know, we've got some variations on the saltwater ones here, so again, go through that process and you're going to end up with this kind of structure. Once you've got you know, your kind of top level for each page, head back to your keyword research and then expand on those terms, and that's going to give you your subtitles, your H2 tags, your H3 tags within the body of your content. It's going to give you areas and language to use of what people are expecting to find and what Google's expecting to find on this page as well. So there's semantically related terms, and what you should end up with, if you do a really good job, is your cloudy fish tank or cloudy goldfish tank blog post actually ranks for 6-7 variations of that term. So, you know, cloudy goldfish tank remedies, cloudy goldfish tank products. Why have I got a cloudy goldfish tank? You know, all of those variations should actually rank that same blog post if you're doing a good job there. So yeah, think about kind of grouping those together, and that should give you, you know, in the bottom half of this sheet, we're starting to create a content plan about things that we can write about that then we link to support our sales pages. And our sales pages are then optimised for the individual sales terms or multiple sales terms per page, grouping them together. So the last part, once we've done kind of all this work and we've got our kind of groups, what we need to then do is think, okay, I've got these 4 search terms that arguably all belong on the same page. So what I need to decide is which of these is going to be my primary keyword, which is the main keyword that I want to rank this page for, and which are the secondary terms. That's going to determine what my title tag is, what my H1 tag is, what my alt tags are on images, what my H2 tags are, what you know, that phrase that I'm trying to rank for I probably want to mention slightly more than the other terms, and so on and so forth. So what's the primary term? So I would say probably these are pretty much the same anyway. So fish tank with stand probably is going to be my primary, and this search volume, actually it's the same 4,400 searches a month for both of these. They're pretty much the same term, so wouldn't worry too much about that. But then I'm probably going to have some more secondary keywords from my research that then define more content within that page that I need to write about to answer the question fish tank with stand. And then what I tend to do is I'll then go through here and then maybe you just put them in bold, or better still, just put them in nice green or something like that. However, aquarium stand, assuming an aquarium and fish tank are identical, you might want to mention the word aquarium, but you know, even maybe you do fish tank and aquarium stands, something like that. Maybe that's your title tag, and you try and optimize for both. But yeah, as you start going through and start color coding these, you will find that this starts to make a bit more sense. So again, these are probably slightly different. Fish tank filter, that's someone looking for a filter. Fish tank with filter, someone looking for a fish tank with a filter. It's kind of a bigger sale, that one, so probably a different page. But again, you know, have a work through, do your research thoroughly. Remember those tools I talked to you about in the last video, but do that thoroughly. Get a really good solid understanding of what people search for, and all down into these kind of these advice queries, you know, these kind of how do I do something queries. These are going to help get you some free traffic to your website, and you can introduce your products. These are also going to help build the structure of your site and the authority that you have around this subject, and linking to then your sales pages is going to help them rank in turn. The other great thing about really good content is people link to it, and that link, you know, the value of those links is massive for SEO. So if you write really good content that gets found on Google and answers the question really, really well, maybe you've got a video in there, something like that, then if other sites start linking to that content and that content links to your sales pages, that's only going to help the rankings of both the blog post itself, you know, that content, but also then your sales pages as well. So, you know, this all kind of starts fitting together, you know, and supports the overall rankings of the site and all of the pages within the site as well. So writing content and researching it thoroughly and getting it to rank is really, really important. From a branding psychological point of view, if I'm searching for something to do with my cloudy fish tank and I find your website, and then I'm searching for, well, how do I clean my website? And oh, there you are again. And then maybe, well, where do I buy a website? Oh, there you are again. Where do I buy a fish tank? Sorry, well, there you are again. So I'm starting to build up a lot of trust in your expertise because you've helped me solve a number of problems with my fish tank, and now I'm looking for a new one. Who do I trust? I trust you. So that's kind of SEO, content marketing, all wrapped up in one. So I hope you found that really useful. Just to recap, do your keyword research thoroughly, get all your keywords into one big spreadsheet, start dividing them up into kind of common areas, so you're almost creating little mini pages here. Then decide which keywords are the primary one for each page and which are your secondary ones, and then start thinking about what's the intent behind these terms. Is this a content, You know, is this a blog post? Is this a video? You know, is this a kind of how do I do something type query? Check Google to make sure. Or is this a sales keyword, and is Google displaying sales pages, and is this one of my category pages, or a subcategory page maybe? What type of page do I need to create and optimize to answer this particular query to get myself ranked on Google? So that's it in a nutshell. If you'd like us to have a look at what you're doing with your SEO, we do a free 19-point audit. Happy to do that for you. You can contact us via tillison.co.uk, or just comment in the video. Find me on Twitter at Tillison. But make sure you give this a like and make sure you subscribe for more videos coming up over the next few weeks.